And last but not least, we have Pisces rising and sun. For you guys, this Aries solar eclipse on April 8th is happening in your second house. And I was getting a pretty clear message around some stuff for you guys, but I don't know if I want to start off with the cards or the astrology. Let's start off with astrology. So, an eclipse in the second house is a time when we are having some kind of new financial beginning. So, maybe we decide to get a new job or buy or sell a house, or we decide to do something different with our money or our investments. There's the sense of being able to create more stability and independence for ourselves by our physical possessions, our financial means, things that are tangible. It also can create more confidence in ourselves, because the second house is also related to self-worth. So it's a time in which we're trying to build ourselves up, again, become more independent, strong in who we are, confident in what we have to offer and bring to relationships or bring to the work table. And so it's really about building ourselves up. And especially in Aries, which is all about that kind of masculine energy of I want this, I deserve to have this, I'm going to go make it happen. I'm confident in myself. It's very much what we're trying to cultivate. And also the playful and childlike experience of Aries, which believes that it can have anything. It doesn't get caught up in the, the pitfalls of looking at things negatively. So that's kind of like the ideal of this eclipse. But this eclipse is conjunct Chiron in Aries. So there is an energy that we have to move through in order to get to this. So we may have to process some feelings of unworthiness, kind of go back to the times when we felt like we were scarce or we didn't have enough, or we weren't confident in ourselves and our ability to make more money, or our ability to have what we want, our ability to show up and offer a lot to the relationship. Whatever it is, basically, that you're kind of feeling, it's generally trying to bring up some emotions from the past, oftentimes solidified during our childhood, where we could have had some wounding around our independence or our confidence or our finances and the things that we own. And so in order to, again, have that sense of stability, we have to move through the emotions that make us feel like we can't have that, or that make us doubt ourselves, or that bring up issues around those things that we're trying to create in our life. And Mercury retrograde is also conjunct this eclipse. So if you are trying to like sign a contract or do some really big thing right now, it's probably better to wait a few weeks until Mercury is not retrograde anymore. But ultimately, Mercury retrograde here is indicating that, again, issues from the past can come up. We have to maybe talk about stuff that has happened in the past, or we have to kind of go back and finish up something that we didn't fully address. So if you started a budget a few months ago and then you dropped it, it's like going back to that budget, reinstating it, and that type of thing. Or it could be that you had an idea to make money and in the past this new way, or you wanted to do something else in the past, and it's like it didn't fully finish. This is our time to go back and finish it. If we start something new right now, which is normal with a new moon, we may have to revisit this again in the future. It might not be tied up in a perfect little bow, and that's important to keep in mind, especially when it comes to money, things that you own, contracts, that type of thing. If you make big purchases right now, it might have some complications or some things that force you to revisit it, or to look at it in a new way, or to just like discuss it differently. So this is a time, again, where we're trying to build up that confidence, go off on our own, build up our money, change the things that we own in some kind of way, and start a new leaf in terms of our financial and independence and our confidence. Also, this is a time in general where you are shaking many things up in your life, though, because the ruler of this eclipse is in the first house. So not only is it affecting your financial sector, but it's also affecting the first house of the self, your body, your self-perception, the way that you make decisions in life, the direction that you're going into in life. So I feel like this is just a bigger eclipse for Pisces in general. It's going to affect you more seriously, especially because Saturn is moving through your first house, and it does place a lot more pressure of like, let's advance our life. Like, let's be aware of where we might be behind, where we want to go in the long run, how we maybe need to like make big decisions. So this is a time, Pisces, where not only are you kind of getting your money life together, but you're also just getting your life together in general. And you're thinking, does this thing work for me 5 years from now? Do I really want to live here? Do I really want to be with this person? Do I really want to stay in this job? Does this make sense for me? What would it look like for me to have what I really want, to make money from doing what I really want? What would it look like if I was more confident? And because I was more confident and self-assured, could have things that maybe right now I don't have. So there's a sense of like building ourselves up so that we can actually reach for things that make more sense for us in the long term. But part of this reaching process also means that, which is Aries, very active, right? Part of this reaching process is also an act of surrender, because Mars and Saturn are together in Pisces. So we can't just reach, we also have to flow. We also have to release. We also have to surrender and trust. And it's like if you have stuff in your hands, you can't reach out for more because your hands are full. And so the universe will guide you to put stuff down, move stuff around, and then be able to pick up the new thing or reach for the new thing. And so for many of you guys, I feel like there's something in your life right now that you're needing to make big decisions on, that you may have to end or walk away from something in your life, close out a chapter, because Mars is next to Saturn, which has to deal with endings. So closing out some kind of chapter that is probably long overdue, that you've been probably thinking about for a while, but I'm sensing some resistance towards this ending with these cards that I pulled, the dead end and the gallbladder. So the dead end is truly about something that is trying to end in your life, but there is this feeling of like wanting to hold on, wanting to grip, not being certain if that's what we want, being indecisive. And that's also the gallbladder, being really indecisive. Should I do this? Should I not do this? How should I go about this? Doubting oneself, basically. So there's a sense of like apprehension around the situation and uncertainty around it. And what this card is trying to say is that it's important for you to realize that once you let go of that thing, something new is awaiting you. So it's not just an ending for an ending. This is a new moon eclipse. This is a time of having a fresh beginning. But again, you can't reach for that thing with something else in your hands. So something big in your life is trying to shift. You are making really big decisions. And again, you can't take it all with you. So if you're wanting to shift something in your career, you're going to have to set something down. If you're going to want to move to a different place, you're going to have to get rid of the things that you're currently attached to in your existing place. Maybe you're going to have to move away from family or friends, or leave your house behind and go to a new house. And same thing for relationships. If you're wanting to meet your life partner and you're with somebody that you're not certain about right now and you're indecisive about, this is your time to face that and be honest with yourself and be willing to let that go. And you'll notice that on the other side is what you want. It might not happen right away, but it's trying to tell you that you're resisting an inevitable end, or you're resisting an end that is preventing you from getting what you really want. So just ask yourself, like, what makes sense for me in the long term? If this thing that I'm doing right now isn't something I want to do 3 years from now, then that is something that you can consider setting down and then pick up the other thing. So that's super, super important. Right now, we also have Venus in Aries in your second house conjunct Neptune in your first house. So Venus and Neptune can get quite like idealistic and ungrounded in its perception of reality. And so that's something I think you guys need to be aware of, is that we're coming into this time of needing to build up our confidence. And again, a lot of that comes from making the right financial decisions and the things that stabilize our independence and our future, basically. So we can feel really confident when we're like, okay, I'm making good money here, and this is what I want to be doing, and I'm buying my first house. And it's like we're playing the game in the way that we want to play it when it comes to the material world and ensuring our success and independence and prosperity. So it's easy to build confidence that way. But sometimes we can get also like a little bit overly optimistic about things, where we feel like once I make this move, once I play the game in this way, then I'm going to have the perfect scenario, then my life is going to be X, Y, and Z. Once I leave this relationship, the next one's going to be perfect. Once I move to this house, the next one's going to be perfect. There's a sense of like, if I make the right moves, I'm not going to have suffering. But that's just not the case. So there's a little bit of this energy here of like naivete or idealism and fantasy that we can bring to the equation of the current scenario with Venus and Neptune together. So we have to be mindful of kind of drawing it back to Saturn, where Mars is sitting next to it. What is the long-term consequences of things? Like, how do I actually come up with a realistic plan? How do I look at the potential pitfalls and plan accordingly? How do I basically ensure my success without glossing over things and trying to put things on a pedestal, or trying to just think that it's going to work out and then not actually have what I need to back it up? So it's important to especially think about that when it comes to things that involve your finances. So you're not like, it's like basically like, let's say, for example, you want to move apartments, and you know that the apartment that you're moving to is going to cost more money, but you haven't started making more money. But you tell yourself, well, it's just going to work out because I'm seeing the synchronicities and this is the right place. This is the ideal place. It's just a little bit out of my budget. It's fine. But then you actually do that, and then the reality sets in that, yes, this place was really beautiful, but now you're financially stressed, and that's affecting your health and affecting your confidence and affecting your future plans and goals and setting you back. So there's a sense of really having a realistic mindset with things, looking at the information, the facts, and maybe not even making a big decision yet during Mercury retrograde, because I think you have a big decision to make. But maybe not forcing that this next week or two, like giving it some time until after Mercury goes direct, and then deciding once you have all of the information, instead of making an impulsive kind of romanticized decision. I think that's basically what I'm seeing also with the Knight of Wands and the Fool card in reverse. It's like, let's not get our passions, let's not let our passions sweep us off our feet and make ungrounded decisions. Maybe we can pause for a little bit, or consider the long-term consequences. I think this is an important time to save money with the Four of Pentacles, to think conservatively when it comes to our money. Maybe thinking about what's the worst that could happen. Let me prepare for that. And not saying that you're manifesting that, but just like having a savings, having a backup plan, trying to live under your means, or find a place that's under your means, or just like creating the sense of security for yourself so that you can feel like you can take risks in the future. So that's a lot around what this first, and the eclipse being the second house and Mars, the ruler of the eclipse, being the first house. It's a lot about you are trying to grow and develop as a person, but you need the resources and the stability and the independence to be able to make those decisions. And so if you are using your mind wisely and your intuition wisely, you will be making informed decisions that will ensure the fact that you can, again, take risks or grow or do certain things in the future that is going to dramatically expand your life. So yeah, I feel like that's basically the message that I wanted to give you guys. Let me pull one more card. Let me pull it from here. One more card for my Pisces. We have She Who Prepares, Formulate, Strategize, Devise. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. You guys are in a phase of needing to have a strategy for your life. And this is not just like one area of life, because Mars and Saturn are together in your first. It can affect any area of your chart. So it's basically saying you need to figure out what you want for yourself in the long term and come up with a strategy and a very smart and a well-informed plan in order to actually get there. And that might mean that you talk to professionals, that you journal, that you think about things, that you listen to intuition and logic, and that you look at this picture holistically, not jump in with 2 feet, but take in one step at a time and have the correct plan that can actually ensure your long-term success. And that might mean having an extra savings or living below your means, budgeting dealing with your financial or material possessions in a way that will support your future endeavors. So that is what I'm seeing for you, Pisces. I hope that that resonates. I would love to hear how this eclipse is affecting you in the comments down below. I really do love reading your comments. So if you comment there, I really appreciate it. If you want a reading from me, you can check me out at cosmicclarityastrology.com. I will have that linked in the description box down below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share with your friends, and have a beautiful day. Bye.